Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio Channel, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeart, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Spreaker, iTunes, and more. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no scandal, no gossip, and no, I used to say K words, no Kardashian talk, but I was told that that wasn't being very nice to the Kardashians. And I do understand that Kim Kardashian is doing some really great things to help those who are less fortunate. So I'll just say, I like to balance out all the bad news out there that you can readily get with a quick scroll of your finger first thing in the morning. But I like to balance all of that bad news out with some good news, with news about people, my on-location clips, interviews, spotlight interviews, and more. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're still tuned in. I was promoted from my weekly show, those of you who didn't know that, some months ago now. I can't believe it's been that long. It seems like a California minute since I said, yes, Fred, I'll do the morning show, not thinking that going from one show a week to 5 shows every weekday morning at 8, 3 segments a day to fit around the news, sports, and weather. That was a little bigger piece of deliciousness of life that I bit off, but not more than I could chew. And I'm so grateful to let you know that in the 4 or 5 short months, this show has made it to the #1 spot at 8 a.m. And I have you to thank for that. So thank you for tuning in. And of course, thank you to all those who helped make this show possible. Mark Westwood, my station manager, who's temporarily facing some health issues, and a breath of healing and perfect health to you, as well as Rick Rule, who automates my back end of the show. Don't go there, dirty minds. As well as all the guys that are actually at the station out in San Bernardino. Being the #1 show in the Inland Empire is really a blessing, and I'm grateful for it. And only second to Bill Handel, by the way, in Southern California. So look out, I'm coming after you. But I know it's because you want an alternative to the angry rhetoric, to the shock talk, to the complaining. Speaking of which, if you really want to change your life for the better, it'll only cost you $21 to register for my 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. That $21 is doubled if you are able to not complain for 21 consecutive days. And even if you are not able to, the $21 goes to my nonprofit, 8 Ways to Happiness. So please go to drmarissa.life if you want to change something that you can control in your life, which is your complaining. All right. Today is November 22nd, and it is the National Day of Homemaker. It's National Homemaker Day. So a shout out to all those who take care of the home, man or woman, or both, in these days where everybody seems to be working. But it has a whole new flavor because, hashtag COVID silver lining, thanks to the pandemic. Homemaker takes a whole new meaning. I think that everyone now is a homemaker, and hopefully you've been able to not complain about the bad things about staying at home, but are appreciating. I know that in some of the In some of the surveys, people have really gotten to appreciate time with their family, which they always say they don't have enough of. Hashtag BC19, the time before COVID is what I'm calling it. So that is one of the blessings that came out of the pandemic. Also, it is Japanese Culture Day. And one of my favorite people on the planet, she's my 4 or 5 time guest, and she's a friend, Keiko Matsui, who, by the way, is going to be performing. I'm going to give a quick commercial here at one of my show sponsors, Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts. And she's going to be performing on February the 25th, I believe I saw that. So please go support the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts. And that way you can also support my twin sister, quote unquote, Keiko Matsui. If you'd like to see my interviews with her, you can go to my YouTube channel and get all of her 4 or 5 visits. It's Friday, February 25th at 8 p.m. I know it's going to be sold out quickly, and I know that I'm going to be there. So, and it's also National Sandwich Day. And to celebrate that, I'm going to give you some insider information on places that are offering freebies to celebrate that. At Ike's Love and Sandwiches on Wednesday, they're giving away 1,400 free sandwich vouchers at random to reward members. So you'll want to sign up for that. Jersey Mike's is offering $2 off any regular sub in the app from November 3rd to November 7th. And Panera is offering fans a chance to have their portrait painted on top of their favorite Panera sandwich starting November 2nd and through November 8th. Sandwich lovers can head to panerasandwichart.com to sign up and to get their free custom artwork. That is interesting. Oh, and last but not least, I'm sure there's a Wendy's near you offering $1 breakfast biscuits during breakfast hours every day in November to celebrate National Sandwich Day. And then finally, it is National Stress Awareness Day. So I went and looked up some statistics, and did you know that and this is an early statistic, and yes, I know that 42.7% of statistics are made up on the spot, but it's been estimated that 75 to 90% of all visits to primary care physicians are for stress-related problems. Now, that's an early statistic that was back in 2017. So you can only imagine that no thanks to the pandemic, that number has gotten higher. So what do you do when you feel stressed out? So the number one thing that I ask my clients to do, my coaching clients, my executive coaching clients, anyone that I get to work with, the easiest first thing to do is when you feel like you're getting stressed. So you feel a little red in your face, or you feel like you're breathing a little faster, or you're wanting to hold your breath, or you're beginning to see red, not just be red. So the first manner of gentle attack is as simple as the breath. And those of you who take my Tai Chi class, my Power Chi or Chinese yoga class know that breath is actually Chi, eternal energy. So do this with me. You can do it in the car, wherever you are right now. Take a deep breath in through the nose and release. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Another deep breath in. And releasing all the stories and the drama and the trigger that just gave you a little pre-heartburn. Whatever their name is, whatever the situation is, let your out breath take whatever is going on and release it out of your body, mind, soul, and spirit. And then last breath, and this is the deep one, in through the nose again. You use that breath to connect with the breath all over, the air that is available to everyone. If I take a breath, no one is being robbed of their breath. We can all breathe in at the same time and we'll all still be alive. That's the third breath, the connection to a friendly universe that has made sure that the planets did not crash last night. So we're still alive. We're still here. We are still able to see, listen, touch, taste. We are still here to enjoy our lives. We're still here to appreciate and look for things that are working well and grateful for. That is my number one defense against stress and letting that stress trigger have its way with me. As soon as I feel like something is up and something's going to happen, and worst case scenario or paranoia or conspiracy theory or how dare you do that or I can't believe this is happening, I catch myself, take the breath, and do those 3 breaths. And every single time I am able to bring myself, maybe not all the way from the ceiling. If I was on the ceiling, if I was, just crazy up there, at least I'm now a foot away from the ceiling. And when I need to, I take another breath. You can rinse and repeat. You can continue to do that. And it doesn't take long. 20 seconds for that one cycle. That's it. And usually if I'm really upset, I breathe. And then if I want to release that anger, I stomp my feet. I jump up and down to get rid of the negative energy that takes more volume in my body than positive energy. So I release that as I'm breathing, releasing the drama, releasing the irritating thought, releasing. And then when my feet are on the ground, I do this. I give myself a little hug and congratulate myself for soothing myself. This is the number one easiest and cheapest way to relieve your stress that has no after effects. There's no side effects from pills for this. There's no weight gain from doing this. There's no shopping addiction from doing this. It sounds simple, and it is possible. Just try that before you do what you normally do. Just try to see if you can make that a habit, because I don't want the world to be so stressed out that when we're stressed out, we're not our best selves. We are not humankind when we are stressed out. We are human mean. We're well-meaning, more mean than well. So hopefully that little tip, that little happy 88 tip, that little, breathing, dancing with chi will help you bring your stress down. Because when your stress is down, you can easily attract answers to problems. You're in the vibration of the solution when you are not up on the ceiling or your panties are all wadded up and you're pissed off. So as my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith will say, get rid of your pissed offedness. You're not the best person you can be when you're pissed off. We are by nature loving people. We are by nature caring people. We are humankind. So let's show it. Let's, if you're happy, let your face know. If you're kind, let it be a random and regular act of kindness. Okay? That's my happy 88 challenge for the day. When we come back, I'm delighted to bring you some on-location interviews and on-location clips, some B-roll of a super great collection that I was able to cover. I do beat reporting, and I was called to go to Beverly Hills to Julian's Auctions, and I met the executive director, lovely guy. We actually have met before, and we're trying to figure it out, but maybe it was in New York. but he is going to explain and introduce and give a little virtual tour of Julian's auction that is holding Amy Winehouse's collection. Not just her clothing, not just her musical instruments, but you get a little insight into the very complex, beautiful, talented Amy Winehouse. She was not just a singer. She was creating all kinds of things. Her book shelf is there with all of the books that she was a voracious reader. I didn't know that. So the collection is open to the general public, and all that information will be coming up after the break. So keep it tuned here to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC, NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, even and including and especially my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, not only can you hear this show, you can actually watch and listen. And that's really important today because of the on location clips that I'll be showing of Amy Winehouse's collection of things that her parents just released to the public. And they're in one place for 1 week, and then they're all going to be auctioned off, and giant share going to the Amy Winehouse Foundation. And you know, I just love when people take their limelight and put it in areas of temporary darkness. And certainly that was unfortunately the reason for her end. But I know where she is, and we'll talk about that during the clip. So here is my interview with the executive director of the Julian's Auctions and the Amy Winehouse collection.
I'm tall.
Yes, you are. Good morning. This is Dr. Marissa. You know me as the Asian Oprah, reporting live here at Julian Auctions. And I have the executive director here. He's going to explain what this glorious backdrop is of Amy Winehouse's clothing. I guess more than clothing,
treasures.
Right?
It's her shoes, her handbags, her equipment, her guitars, her road cases, her perfumes. I mean, you think of somebody, a young lady at 27, all the items in her possession, and somebody that's a global icon, loved all over the world, toured all over the world, and so amazing items. And really, you'll see the price points are really affordable, conservative auction estimates. And of course, the nice thing about this auction is a generous portion of the proceeds will go to benefit the Amy Winehouse Foundation, which does really good work for people dealing with addictions, music therapy, and also accommodation for ladies that have been displaced because of struggles in their personal life or in their home life. And that's something that was really important to Amy Winehouse, who of course battled her own demons as well. But really iconic dresses, you know, the Moschino heart-shaped purse, one of my favorite items in the sale. But her shoes, her ballet slippers, she performed on stage with Mick Jagger wearing ballet slippers because that's what Amy Winehouse did. She did who Amy was. And of course, famously, she performed with Tony Bennett as well. There's a great book from Frank Sinatra by Quincy Jones, inscribed to Amy from Quincy Jones about Frank Sinatra. And of course, Amy's first album was titled Frank, and that was a tribute to Frank Sinatra because she grew up loving and listening to Frank Sinatra music because her dad, Mitch, who was also a performer, loved Frank Sinatra, and of course he passed that love to his daughter. So that's a really great book and really speaks to the history of Amy Winehouse and the music that she loves.
Right. I actually got to interview Quincy Jones myself. and he flirted with me in Chinese.
That's impressive.
It is. So behind you is a dress that she wore at her last, let's see if we can catch that right there.
Yeah, that beautiful green
Yes, that's
dress.
a Gucci. Oh no, her designer, a friend
that's
designer.
designed by her friend Naomi Parry, and so that's a really iconic outfit because this was Amy wearing this dress in Serbia, and it was the summer 2011, the final performance.
Right.
In fact, we saw that performance. We saw what Amy was struggling with on stage. The whole
Right.
world got to realize that she was struggling, and then sadly she passed away very soon thereafter. So it's very iconic because it represents her last public performance. And so again, that's a beautiful piece. But if you look at all the outfits, you see the beehive wigs that we have to showcase who Amy Winehouse was. She was a style icon, a fantastic voice, but just a great person. And so we're really honored to pay tribute to such an icon as Amy Winehouse.
Yes, absolutely. And her parents just released, you were telling me?
Yeah, so her parents started this foundation 10 years ago in memory of Amy, and they've also been releasing music that has never been released before, which is very nice. There's new documentaries coming out as well. So a lot of people a new generation almost, are getting to know who was Amy Winehouse. And of course, there's one piece there that's a birthday card to Amy from Adele. And so that's really nice. It's really amazing that Amy actually kept that birthday card. Mark Ronson and Adele signed it to Amy, and Adele sort of came along and then sort of filled that void after we lost Amy, and is so successful today and so loved all over. So that's a really iconic and an important part of our pop culture history as well.
Beautiful. And if anybody wants to participate in the auction?
Yeah, so it's an exhibition open all week here in Beverly Hills. It's free to the public. We welcome people to come down, but if you can't be here for the auction this Saturday, November 6th and 7th at Julian's Auctions in Beverly Hills, people can go to julianslive.com. They can actually see and hear the auctioneer, live streaming video, click those buttons, bid against people bidding here in the room or on the phone, and take home some momentum, some treasure representing an amazing life and career.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for spending a little time.
Thank you.
And I do this at the end of every show, which is peace in,
peace and love,
peace out,
as Ringo would
world peace through inner peace. Thank you
that.
so much.
My pleasure. Peace to you.
Yes, really, it was heartening, it was poignant, it was sad, but it was also, I love doing things for the first time, and it was as if I got to meet her and got a peek into her life. So make sure you go and check out juliansauctions.com. It also is going to be live streaming as the executive director mentioned. So please do enjoy that. And when we come back, it is my spotlight interview. And since it is Stress Awareness Day, I thought I would bring you one of my favorite guests, as well as a good friend. His name's Brad Yates. He is the master of tapping. So he went through pandemic stress tapping that I wanted to bring to you. I know we're almost out, but some of us have delayed our stress or are in the habit of being stressed because of the pandemic. So I wanted to let you use this tool of tapping in order to alleviate your stress. So that's when we come back here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. Millions of homes in Southern California and over 100 nations. This station has been around for a long time and will continue to bring you programming. I am after a wonderful show, Stephanie Miller, syndicated nationally, and there's lots of great shows. If you'd like to be a host on this station, I am blessed to be someone that Fred trusts to scout. So if you are at all interested in having your own show here on this station, please do contact me at drmarissa.life and just put in the contact. I want to be a host. And I did have the host show that we had 2 sessions for and had great winners. They went on to have some shows on the station. So if that's speaking to you, please do contact me for that. And as promised, I'm bringing you, because it is National Stress Awareness Day, some solutions. I gave you a solution on the breath beforehand, and now there's tapping from my friend Brad Yates. So enjoy.
Yeah, so for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways called meridians. And when this energy flows naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. When this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. And when we don't feel good, we don't think as clearly. And that has all kinds of unfortunate consequences. We make poor choices. And so when so in traditional acupuncture, the doctor would stick needles in these key points to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. Now, a psychologist named Dr. Roger Callahan was working with a woman with a lifelong water phobia, and he had been learning about acupressure, and he said, so what's the physical symptom when you feel this fear? And she said, oh, I get a knot in my stomach. And he said, oh, okay, let's see. The end point for the stomach meridian is right here under the eye. Let's see what happens if we just tap right there and stimulate that point. And she said, it's gone. And he said, what's gone? Thinking she meant the knot in her stomach. And she said, the fear. And she ran outdoors towards the swimming pool. And he was running after her saying, wait, stop. And she goes, no, it's okay. I know I don't know how to swim. But she got down by the water and started splashing water in her face. And she was like, I feel no fear right now.
Wow.
So naturally, he was kind of amazed by that and started experimenting with different clients. And that's what we call a 1 minute wonder. It doesn't usually happen quite that instantly where a lifelong issue disappears in minutes, but it can happen. So he just found that by stimulating different acupuncture points, that he could help people resolve all kinds of different emotional issues. Within a year, he put himself out of business because his clients didn't need to keep coming back to him each week.
They all came to you.
We do have, as you said, modern scientific research showing cortisol levels. So when we go into fight or flight, one of the things that happens is the body releases this hormone called cortisol, which is really great for getting out of a tight situation, but it has all kinds of harmful effects if it's there too long, including shutting down our digestive system, which can lead to weight gain, but it harms us in a number of different ways. And when we're constantly being stressed, we're constantly pumping cortisol in our body. So doing double-blind, gold standard research, they worked with folks doing different techniques to help try to reduce the stress. The group that did the tapping, their cortisol levels dropped by an average of 24%. Wow. Some as much as 50%. It was so staggering that the lab technicians threw out the first batch of results thinking that it had to be something had gone wrong.
Right. Wow.
And that test has been duplicated. I have a friend who's done fMRI studies where you can see the brain activity, and after the tapping, that overactive parts have calmed down. So we do have research showing that it's beyond the realm of the woo-woo. That's a scientific.
All right.
This is a technique that genuinely helps us use our body's natural system to calm down the stress response.
I stand corrected. No more. I'm just like one of those reluctant woo-woos. I'm a woo-woo, but I'm a reluctant woo-woo. But no, that's awesome. I didn't know that. So this is validated like scientifically, although science is getting a bad name, but we're not going there. Okay. So now when do you engage the tapping? Is this something that you should do, when you're feeling stressed, or is it a discipline, something you can do all the time?
Yeah, I encourage people to tap every day because to me, it's energy hygiene. We have physical hygiene like brushing our teeth and taking a shower. Most of us do that on a daily basis, whether we need it or not, because we don't want to get to the point where we do need it. Most of us don't wait until people around us are holding their nose and then we say, I haven't taken a shower in a while, right? I should probably do that. But with
Good point.
stress, most of us don't have a way of cleaning out the stress. And yet we are constantly being bombarded, especially in the information age. If you're on social media or watching the news or just, you overhear conversations, you can't help but hear information that stimulates that stress response. And there's that fear, and Dr. Chopra was talking about the anger and hostility. And to me, underneath all of those uncomfortable feelings is fear. The only reason we get angry, the only reason we become hostile is because we feel threatened. And so when we allow ourselves to use this process of calming down the stress response, we can start to see, okay, am I in as much danger as I think I am? What am I reacting to? And I may be responding to things that happened decades ago, and I'm misunderstanding what's going on for me right now and having a stress response. That shuts down the prefrontal cortex, and I'm no longer thinking clearly. And now I'm just getting upset, and I'm resorting to violence, physically or emotionally, because I don't know what else to do. This helps us figure out what else to do in a much healthier manner.
Right. Okay. So where do you tap?
So when we do the basic version of EFT, the first place we're going to tap, and so we tap with the index and middle finger with our fingertips.
Of which hand?
You can start with your dominant hand.
Okay.
The meridians run up and down both sides of the body. And so we can tap with either hand on either side of the body. For the sake of demonstration, I'll say, go ahead and use your dominant hand.
Okay.
And be tapping on the edge of your opposite hand. So right there on the side of your hand, between your pinky and your wrist.
Okay.
And we gently tap there while we describe what the problem is. So let's just say stress. So I'd rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. Let's see. Right now, given all the stuff that's going on, I'd say it's about an 8. And it can certainly help if we identify how we're experiencing it. So maybe it's a tightness in my shoulders, or a knot in my stomach, or a tightness in my chest.
Tightness in my back. And just for the sake of really bringing this home, I think it would be valuable if I played, as I usually do, the real person and say, these are the things that I hear, not just necessarily from me. So I am stressed about money. How am I going to, if I do have a job, maybe I won't have a job because, the company's not doing well. If I don't have a job and my savings are running out, what am I going to do? I'm going to be homeless. If I don't have savings, I'm really stressed because I don't know where the next paycheck is going to come from. So that's one. Two is, how are my kids going to learn what they need to learn when they hate Zoom or can't sit still, or I'm so I don't have any more answers when they say, when is this going to be over? And I'm just snapped thin and I lose my temper more and I feel horrible as a parent. I'm really pissed off at the election on all levels, and I'm really pissed off that people that I love are saying like the worst possible things and accusing me of things. This is all real. Accusing me and blaming me and saying, how could you, I thought you were open-minded. I thought you were intelligent, and just horrible things. And so my friendships are all fluxed up. I'm stressed about, I have a hip replacement surgery coming up on Monday.
Just to add something on top of everything else.
Yeah, why not? Can't drive for 6 weeks. There's people who have health issues, people not wearing masks, people wearing masks.
I'm stressed, are my kids going to be okay? They didn't graduate, or they're not going to get a job. I'm not going to get a job. Is there anything? Oh, how am I going to find a boyfriend during this time when you can't even date? No, I'm just kidding. I do everything
If
once.
the show was
Marriage.
12 hours long, we still wouldn't exhaust all the possible reasons that people might be stressed out right now.
Okay.
So here's how to do it. This is why I have over 900 videos on YouTube, because there are so many issues to cover. And I still have a long list of issues, a never-ending list of things yet to shoot videos on.
That's true, because you deal with every issue. You deal with just about every issue. He was so sweet. He sent me a video of for pre-surgery. And I'm stopping you only for a second because we have reached that point where I have to stop for station and to thank the sponsors who make this show possible. And it's perfect timing, because when we come back, we are going to do the whole tapping, and it'll be a perfect place to cut. And I'm so grateful for this fabulous news sponsor that I have called thebestself.co. And here comes the offer right now. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Do you want to be your best self? Of course you do. But how? Dr. Marissa here, and you know me as your personal happiness cheerleader, and right now, especially now, it's not easy to be your best self when everything around you is all fluxed up. Well, I found a fabulous site with a myriad of helpful, easy-to-use tools to explore and excavate your best self. From journals to planners to discovery decks, the Best Self Hub has everything you need to create work-life harmony and live a life you love. Go to www.bestself.co and use promo code Dr. Marissa to get 20% off. Discover your best self today. And yes, that is a fabulous site. And you get 30% off if you're shopping for Black Friday. Please let them know that you would have used Dr. Marissa, but you like even more savings. And that way we'll keep the sponsor happy. And you are tuned in to my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get happy with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at Naturally High Noon, broadcasting out of Burbank, California with UBN Go Studios. And every Saturday at 6 on my CNBC NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, home to Dave Ramsey and the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind. And then all the time on demand, everywhere, every platform, just about. So, but iHeartRadio for sure. You can get the podcast there, and then go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe to get all of my past 445 shows. And today I'm delighted to have Solution. You know how I love Solution. I hate complaining. The 21-day fast from complaining, we'll talk about at the end of the show, but I'm daring you during this time to practice before New Year's resolution time. And I'll pay you double the $21 if you manage to do 21 consecutive days of no planning. And it will definitely help by doing the tapping that Brad Yates, EFT expert and really good guy, is going to teach us right now on how we can stay almost stress-free. Here we go.
Just for clarification, the really nice guy, Marissa gave me several options, so I didn't come up with that on my own.
Yes, he's humble too.
I'm too nice of a guy to call myself a really nice guy.
Exactly. I called him that. He said, okay. All right. It's not often, Brad's speechless. I just love that part of it. I'm like one of the few people that can get him to stop. Right? You have to admit it. Okay. I'm
too speechless to admit it.
Oh, funny, funny. All right,
Where
go
were
ahead.
we? We were about to tap, right?
Yes, we're about to tap. Here we go.
So yeah, so let me first show folks I'll take you through the basic version of EFT, just so the points and the tapping. Then we're going to dig into some of that stuff that where the stress is. So we identify the issue. So we'll just call it stress for right now.
Mm-hmm.
We tap on the side of the hand and say, even though I have this stress, I choose to love and accept myself. And we'll say that 3 times.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Even though I have this stress, I choose to love and accept myself.
And we'd say that 3 times. And then we would start here at the eyebrow point, right there at the beginning of your eyebrow, and say, all this stress.
All this stress.
And generally we tap between 5 and 10 times, but depending on how long the phrase is, it might be longer than that. Don't worry about it. It's not an exact science. Then we follow the eyebrow to the corner of your eye, all this stress.
All this stress.
And right under the middle of your eye, just above your cheek, all this stress.
All this stress.
Right under your nose, just above your upper lip, all this stress.
All this stress.
Right under your lower lip, just above your chin, all this stress.
All this stress.
And right here where your collarbones just about come together, there's a little bit of a U shape at the base of your throat. You can use all of your fingertips or even make a fist and tap where the collarbones just about meet. All this stress.
All this stress.
Next point is about 4 inches below your armpit. It's right about bra strap level, and I'm sure even the guys can figure out where that is. All this stress.
All this stress.
And finally, using all of your fingertips, tapping the crown of your head. All this stress.
All this stress.
And then you take a deep breath. And then you would check again and say, okay, if my stress was at an 8 before, what does it feel like now? For some people, that'll go from an 8 to a 0 like that. Sometimes it'll go from an 8 to a 7.75. But if you've been at a level 8, even a 7.75 is going to feel a little bit better. And as we're tapping, what often happens is it's like peeling the layers of an onion, and you might get more clear of all this stress, all this, oh, I know exactly what I'm stressed out about. I know exactly what I'm afraid of. And then you might change the words and you can focus in on that. But it's just this basic process. And even without saying any words, just the tapping alone will help to downregulate your stress. So don't even worry about the words. But the reason I show you this basic version where you just say the issue, this stress, this stress, this stress, is to show you how simple it is. Now we're going to play with it, where we do it my way, where it's more of an intuitive process and brings in a lot of that stuff that you talked about. So what I'd like everyone to do is close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. And just following your breath through your body, just allow yourself to be aware of how much stress you might be feeling. Notice where in your body you might be feeling it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, how strong that discomfort feels. And notice what thoughts, beliefs, and memories might be involved. Is it a fear about money? Is it a fear about getting sick? Is it a fear about your children? There's so many different things that you could choose to be stressed about. So just allow yourself to be aware for the moment, for this particular round. Allow yourself to focus in on what causes you the most stress in this moment. Again, paying attention to your body, noticing where you feel that stress, and you can ask that part of your body, what are you most afraid of? Now, take another deep breath. Open your eyes. And I'm going to go ahead and use the phrase that you used earlier. Even though things are so fluxed up.
That's from my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, by the way. Credit where credit is due. Even when things are so fluxed up,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyways.
Even though things are so fluxed up.
Even though things are so fluxed up.
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to honor and love myself anyways.
Even though things are so fluxed up.
Even when things are so fluxed up.
And there are so many things stressing me out.
And there's so many things stressing me out.
I'm worried about disease.
I'm worried about disease.
I'm worried about money.
I'm worried about money.
I'm worried about my neighbors.
I'm worried about my neighbors. How do you know
and
that?
what they believe.
And what they believe.
I'm worried about my kids.
I'm worried about my kids.
I have no shortage of things to be worried about.
I have no shortage of things to be worried about.
And I cannot be worried enough to fix them.
And I cannot be worried enough to fix them.
And even though things are so fluxed up,
And even though things are so fluxed up,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else involved.
And maybe anyone else involved.
Because I choose to be that free.
Because I choose to be that free.
So right here at the eyebrow point, things are so fluxed up.
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 And on top of the things that are usually fluxed up,
And on top of the things that are usually fluxed up,
there are even more things fluxed up right now.
there are even more things fluxed up right now.
Fluxed up beyond belief.
Fluxed up beyond belief.
I believe the expression is FUBAR.
I believe the expression is FUBAR.
Fluxed up beyond all recognition.
I didn't know that. Flexed up beyond all recognition.
So of course I'm stressed out.
So of course I'm stressed out.
I should be stressed out.
I should be stressed out.
That's what part of me says.
That's what part of me says.
And that's what other people are saying.
And that's what other people are saying.
If I had my act together,
If I had my act together,
if I were feeling more peaceful,
if I were feeling more peaceful,
people would think I was crazy.
people would think I was crazy.
Do you not realize how fluxed up things are?
Do you not realize how flexed up things are?
People are losing money left and right.
People are losing money left and right.
People are getting sick left and right.
People are getting sick left and right.
Do you know what your kids are up to right now?
Do you know what your kids are up to right now?
How can you not be stressed out?
How can you not be stressed out?
And I might reply,
And I might reply,
my stress is not going to solve any of those things,
my stress is not going to solve any of those things.
as evidenced by all of your stress.
As evidenced by all of your stress.
You're sitting there freaking out,
You're sitting there freaking out,
but the numbers are still going up.
but the numbers are still going up.
So apparently your stress isn't helping.
So apparently your stress isn't helping.
But if we all let go of our stress,
But if we all let go of our stress,
we can think more clearly
we can think more clearly
and find real solutions.
and find real solutions.
So do I want to be stressed because everybody else is?
So do I want to be stressed because everybody else is?
Or do I want to feel peace and find solutions?
Or do I want to find peace and solutions?
And I'm not wrong or bad for feeling stress.
I'm not wrong or bad for feeling stress.
It's a normal response.
It's a normal response.
I've been taught for years how to respond this way.
I've been taught for years how to respond this way.
And I've been taught by some of the best.
And I've been taught by some of the best.
I have studied at the feet of real stress masters.
I've studied at the feet of real stress masters.
And it's time to choose another way.
And it's time to choose another way.
Because I want real solutions.
Because I want real solutions.
I don't need this stress.
I do not need this stress.
I'm letting go of this fear
I'm letting go of this fear
that if I'm not feeling fear and stress,
that if I'm not feeling fear and stress,
I'll just be stupid
I'll just be stupid
and make bad choices.
and make bad choices.
And I'm clearing that fear.
And I'm clearing that fear.
Because the more I clear the fear and stress,
Because the more I clear the fear and stress,
the easier it is to make the best choices.
Isn't he great? And even if you weren't able to see where the tapping is, just listening to the words, please go to the YouTube though. However, if you get to see the rest of this show, and he has his own incredible YouTube channel with millions of views that are free for anything, from if you're going through a bad divorce or you're going through a breakup, or if someone betrayed you, or if you have cancer. He's got specific tapping just for anything that ails you. So thank you, Brad, again, this time coming virtually as my spotlight interview, but I hope you enjoyed that. And that is it for today's installation of Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, which is show number 568. I'm so grateful to have you within earshot so I can try to convince you to drink a little rose-colored Kool-Aid. Why? Because I want you to be happy 88% of the time. Why 88 and not 100%? Because if 88% of the time. And if you'd like to support my work, my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years, please do shop at Amazon. And when you go to Smile Amazon, put in 8 ways to happiness. And when you do so, Amazon pays my 501c a little bit, which helps. It provides happy tools, books, programs to teens, young adults, and kids who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room studio during the pandemic, reminding you that it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. I'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget, have the best day ever.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.